Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the State of Rhode Island Coastal Resources Management Council meeting to order. It's our semi-monthly meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 23, 2024. I would ask the record to reflect the council members that are in attendance, as well as staff members as well. First matter on our agenda would be approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, that being June 25, 2024. I'd entertain a motion to approve them unless there's any corrections offered. Motion been made to approve. Is there a second? Second. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
I think they were very nicely done.
They were nicely
They
done.
were very nicely done. Whoever did the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I need to abstain. I was.
All right. If I took the vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Subcommittee reports.
Mr. Chair, the Planning and Procedures Subcommittee met today on the matter of Quidnesset Country Club's petition to change the water type designation along a particular section of shoreline adjacent to the club. And we held a public comment meeting at the Planning and Procedures Subcommittee today, simply to basically extend the public comment period that we had for written comments that ended in June, at the end of June. This was to have oral comments be made. We received several requests to hold a hearing on the matter. And because we are not in rulemaking, we are not in a hearing mode, but we felt that based on the number of comments we received to hold a hearing, that we should have a public comment meeting to collect more comments on the matter. And that's what we held at PMP earlier today. No action was taken at that time.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Willis on the subcommittee report? Staff reports?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a few items since we last met. Staff has been meeting on a couple of dredging issues and beach nourishment issues, one with the town of Charlestown, and this also reflects some of the issues with the Charlestown, what's called Ninigret breakwater, the breachway there. The west wall is starting to fail. And with the recent storms we had over this past winter, especially in a southwesterly wind, a lot of the wave action will carry sand and water over the breakwater and into the breachway navigable channel itself. And it's causing some public health and safety issues with boaters and recreational users there, to the point that we are trying to work with the state as well as the federal delegation to maybe find a funding source to address the public health and safety issues associated with the breachway there. Similar meeting with the town of Narragansett at the mouth of the Narrow River. I think I mentioned this a few meetings prior, that with those same winter storms have reconfigured the mouth of the Narrow River with the sediment and the sand such that there are also public health and safety issues with boating access in that area. And it's a highly recreated beach area, if you will, for the public. I myself use it as a fishing access site. And so with the boats and people trying to recreate in that area, it's become a little difficult in terms of conflict of users. So there's some public health and safety issues there. We are working with the federal delegation as well as the town of Narragansett to find ways to possibly dredge that area as well. Staff also had two outreach meetings, if you will. Since we last met, we met with the League of Cities and Towns, who have on a quarterly basis what they call a coastal community roundtable, where they take the 21 coastal communities in each quarter, discuss issues of commonality among them. And they asked me to present issues on coastal resilience to them, what the CRMC can offer in coastal resilience. So I talked a lot about the beach SAMP. I talked a lot about storm tools and SERI and things along those lines that they have, as communities, can incorporate into their own rules and regulations. And I just want to cite the chapter in the general laws that allows that to happen. We worked with Representative Courtreed 2 sessions, maybe 3 sessions ago, to have this be passed, and it was, and adopted as now state law. And this is General Laws 4569-1, where it says, for the purposes of coastal hazards, including sea level rise and coastal flooding, Of course, I apologize. I can't read it all, but it authorizes the coastal communities to adopt the CRMC's coastal hazard application process as part of their local overlay zones, so that they have these tools available to them at the local level in zoning and planning to help them, meaning the municipalities and the applicants that need municipal approvals, help them understand some of these coastal resiliency issues and actually put it in some of their regulations. And then lastly, last week, Laura and I and two other staff met with the Environment Business Council at their leadership lunch, where we talked about resiliency issues, public access issues, aquaculture, and offshore renewable energy. So we've done a lot of outreach. We're trying to reach, we're trying to get input in a lot of these other professional groups as well as educational groups, and explain to them some of the issues of the day, coastal resiliency being a big one. So we're trying to make a push in that regard. And that's my report for tonight, Mr. Chair.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Done.
Jim, is there any news or story on the wind turbine blades that fell apart?
So
And which, I don't know which wind farm it was.
it was Vineyard Wind 1, the first one that this council did back in what, 17, 18, yeah. And best we know, and we don't have a lot of information in terms of direct information from the Vineyard Wind folks. Best we know, it may be manufacturing, but it might not be. It could be human error in terms of how the blades were attached to the turbine itself, because there was only one turbine, not the three on that particular one. But Vineyard Wind has done a very good outreach and communication, and apparently are doing as best they can to clean it up as fast as they can, so that the beaches in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts that would be affected don't lose really any time for folks to be able to recreate there. But I don't have any more information than that, other than it could be manufacturing, it could be human error,
It was
and
one of
that's part of the
One of the
investigation.
original five, is that what you said? That was Block Island or not?
No, not at all.
The
Not
other
at all.
ones, they haven't been
Vineyard Wind over
They
closer to
haven't been
Nantucket.
in very long. What's there, 11 of them?
The Block Island ones?
No, the,
Oh, the Vineyard Wind ones, yeah, you're right, they just finished completing that project, and so the last part of it, we've been putting the blades on.
and that's
And-
when URI came in and talked to us all about the vibration and modeling and those same ones. Huh?
So, yeah, I mean,
Maybe URI's got some data.
well, we participate, and we actually lead a team of researchers that includes URI researchers and Tufts University researchers on the structural health of a lot of these turbines. We don't have Vineyard Wind as part of that project, but we are working with one of the Block Island wind turbines, as well as one of the monopiles of another project, to look at structural health over time, and vibration issues would be one of them. But I think this blade issue was not anticipated, obviously.
Thank you.
Any further questions of Director Willis? Having none, we'll now go through the formal agenda. First matter is an application requesting modification before the council for review and action. Bearing number 1990-10-050 Leslie Gursky. It's a application for modification to vacate stipulation H parentheses disallowing individual pathways, close parentheses, for lot H parentheses now identified as AP 31, lot 166. Close parentheses to allow for a request to construct a stairway over the bluff to access the shore. It is located at Water Street, Johnny Cake Lane, Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Is the applicant ready and present on that? If you could come forward. Who's got this one for us? Amy?
Thank you, Mr.
Ms. Silver,
Chair.
what to the council, please?
As stated in the introduction, this application is a request to modify CRMC Category B approval. There's a mistake on the decision worksheet. It says Category A. The original 1990-10-040 was a Category B subdivision approved by the council. Within that subdivision approval, the coastal lots were known by letter H, G, F, and T. They now all have more standard plat identifiers from the township. The lot in question was formerly known as Lot H. It is now known as Lot 166 on Plat 31. The lot was developed with a single-family dwelling under CRMC Assent 2016-04-016, and it maintains the 75-foot buffer zone that was required under the 1990 subdivision approval. Subsequently, CRMC Assent 2022-12-028 was submitted for some buffer zone management, specifically a pathway, a recreational area, and a staircase over the bluff. It was at that time, I believe even prior to the application of, or the submission of that application, the applicant was notified of the stipulation within the original assent that says there shall be no individual pathways to the shore. There is one common pathway to the shore for the entire subdivision located at the southern portion of the subdivision. This lot is in the northern portion. So the applicant removed the staircase from the buffer zone management request and buffer zone management for a pathway and a recreational area, and some minor trimming within a view corridor was approved. Staff discussed the question of stipulation H with CRMC legal, and the applicant was guided that they would need to make a request to have the original 1990 stipulation vacated in order to make a request for an individual pathway to the shoreline. That request was received in April of 2024. The plans submitted within your agenda package do show a staircase, but it is there only for illustrative purposes as part of their reasoning to have the stipulation vacated. The original staff reports back in 1990 cited quote, long-term erosion concerns, end quote, in the staff report, which included that stipulation disallowing the individual pathways. This concern supports or is supported by the CRMC section 1.2.2D for coastal bluffs, which states that the council has a goal of protecting bluffs from activities that may damage them. The applicant has noted that since subdivision in 1990 and since the development of all of the shoreline lots, the bluff has remained densely vegetated, and that the only erosion concern that has been found is from a nearby outfall, a condo association to the north. There has been no significant erosion events on this shoreline. The applicant's narrative goes on to note that the adjacent lot has a stairway over the bluff, which is currently subject to enforcement, that shows that there have been no signs of damage to the bluff as a result of that structure. Open riser staircases are commonly and routinely approved by the CRMC administratively where they are appropriately designed and appropriately cited. The applicant has sufficiently demonstrated that the coastal bluff has not shown the erosion that was anticipated in 1990, and staff has no objections to vacating stipulation H for this lot, which would allow the applicant to subsequently apply for a staircase. I believe there's a recommended stipulation in the end of my report that would modify that stipulation H, essentially with a sentence that says this is no longer applicable for lot H, should the council approve it.
Okay. Any questions of Ms. Silva from council? All right, Councilor, just for the record, identify yourself, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Christian Capizzo, Capizzo, with the law firm of Partridge, Snow and Hahn, 40 Westminster Street, Providence, Rhode Island, 02903. Good evening, commission members and CIMC staff. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Ms. LESLIE GURSKI, who's to my right, Gurski, her last name, and we also have available for any questions from the staff or from the commission members. Neil Higurani from Narragansett Engineering. Earlier this evening, I presented Ms. Turner with a letter that you should have all received, the commission members should have received from a Mr. Bill Plunkett, who is the president of the Leeward Shore Condominium Association. He is also present this evening, sitting behind Mr. Higurani, in support of the applicant's application. And we're here to answer any questions that the council or that staff may have.
Any questions for Attorney Capizzo or his client? Okay. No questions. Let me just ask, is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition of this application? Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Just in closing, I'd like to thank Ms. Silver for her thoughtful review of the application. Mrs. Gursky did reach out early on to inquire as to whether or not she could put stairs in there, and Amy helped guide her through that process and informed her of the communal stairs. At that point, she engaged myself and Mr. Higurani to help her with the CRMC process. And I think it's a thoughtful review of two-step process, as Amy indicated. One, vacate the stipulation based on guidance from CRMC legal counsel, and we'll be back before you at some point with an application for the stairs, which Amy has preliminary review, but has not been submitted formally for CRMC. So I just want to put that on the record.
Thank you. Is the council in a position for a motion, please?
I'll make a motion, based on the findings of fact as presented in the staff report and the representations and presentations made here at the public meeting. I make a motion to vacate the reference to lot H in stipulation H to allow a separate application to be filed for the construction of the stairway.
Thank you. Motion's been made by Ms. Reynolds. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Gomez. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll poll the council. Mr. Brucelino?
Aye.
Mr. Gagnon?
Aye.
Ms. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Flynn?
Aye.
Mr. Izzy?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
And I, Raymond Coy, vote aye. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Next is applications which have been out to notice and are before the council for review and action. First one is 2024-02-046, Town of Bristol. It's an application to construct and maintain a new boat ramp and public recreation boating facility. The existing concrete boat ramp and floating dock is proposed to be removed and replaced with a new cast in place concrete ramp with riprap slope stabilization and a new 10-foot by 120-foot floating dock. The facility is proposed to extend approximately 75 feet beyond the mean low water, achieving a water depth of approximately 7.5 feet. Located at plat 8, lot 12, Thames Street, Bristol, Rhode Island. Is the applicant ready and present? Please come forward, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please state your name and spell it for the record. Sorry.
My name is Brian Dutra. That's Briandutra. And I'm an engineer over at Park Corporation.
Greg Marsili, GREGGMARSILI. I'm the attorney from Bristol, Rhode Island.
What do you?
Master.
Okay, thank you. Who's got this one?
I have.
Rich, please.
As described, this site is located at Bristol Independence Park and it's owned by the town of Bristol. This is actually a portion of a total site improvements that was originally assented under CRMC Assent 2023-11-27. That assent was for the upland section of the property. The existing boat ramp and dock is being improved to enhance public access. The existing facility that is there now is a 47 by 84 boat ramp, and it's and with a dock and a timber pier. This will be replaced with a new 35 by 120-foot concrete ramp, precast concrete, and a new 10 by 120-foot floating dock. Also, riprap shall be installed for slope stabilization for the boat ramp and continue along the eastern edge of the driveway. The site abuts type 4 waterways, which is considered multi-purpose waters. It is staff's opinion that the project meets this designated priority use. Also, the project received no objections during or after the public notice. There are no variances required. It is staff's opinion that the project minimizes impacts to the environment while improving public access. Therefore, there are no engineering objections to the project and recommend approval. Also note that a Rhode Island DEM water quality cert has been obtained for the project.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Lucia from council members? Gentlemen, anything to add or?
No, thank you guys for your time.
Any questions of Mr. Dutra or Marsili from council members? Is there anyone else present this evening that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone present this evening that wishes to speak in opposition of the application? Hearing none, is the council in a position for a motion, please?
I'll move to approve based on the findings in the staff presentation.
Motion has been made by Mr. Flynn to approve,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Gagnon. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will poll the council. Mr. Flynn?
Aye.
Mr. Izzy?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Russolino?
Aye.
Mr. Gagnon?
Aye.
Ms. Reynolds?
Aye.
I too, Raymond Coy, vote aye. Application has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next matter is 2023-11-073 Amy Toranjo. It's an application to construct and maintain a residential boating facility consisting of a 3-foot by 8-foot ramp, 4-foot by 25-foot fixed timber pier, 3 feet by 14.25 feet access ramp, and 8-foot by 18.75 foot, which is a 150 square foot terminal float. The facility will extend 50 feet seaward of the cited mean low water mark, requiring a 3-inch water depth variance to Red Book 650-RICR-20-00-01, section 1.3.1D11 Z, table 8, which requires 18 inches mean low water at the facility terminus. The application has been revised, parentheses, length variance eliminated, to reduce impact of local navigational concerns raised during the original public notice period. It's located at plat 43-1 lot 6 at 1 Lafayette Avenue, South Kingston, Rhode Island. And gentlemen, if you could identify yourself, please, for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ted Monahan. I am speaking on behalf of Amy Toranjo. My last name is Monahan.
And your name, sir?
I'm Mark Dowdell, Dowdell Engineering. I designed the,
Could you spell your name for the record?
sorry, D-O-W-D-E-L-L.
Please raise your right hand, both of you. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Who's got this one?
I do.
Amy, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As noted in the introduction, this application is for a residential boating facility located on type 2 waters of the Narrow River in South Kingstown. The property is located on the west side of the river, just north of Middlebridge, along, and it abuts Lafayette Road. The dock will extend to 50 feet mean low water and will require approximately 3 inches of depth variance to terminate at 15.6 inches of water. Lafayette Avenue is not a CRMC designated right of way, but as a street that dead ends at the shoreline. It is commonly used by members of the neighborhood and the public for shoreline access. The dock was originally submitted for a facility that terminated at 61 feet mean low water, which would have required an 11-foot length variance. This design did go to public notice and received several objections. One from the town of South Kingstown, one from the Narrow River Preservation Association, and 3 from general members of the public. It was also during this time that it was noted that the property line was in error and a side setback variance was needed. Upon receipt of these objections, which were forwarded to the applicant, staff did work with the design engineer and recommended some revisions, which resulted in the design that is in front of you this evening. There is no property line variance and there is no length variance with the current design, just a water depth variance. That new design went to a new notice. During that second notice period for the current design, the town of South Kingstown rescinded their objection. The Narrow River Preservation Association rescinded their objection. The first member of the public simply did not comment, which is typically considered to be a rescinding of an objection. The second member of the public spoke with the reviewing staff, Tracy Sylvia, and mentioned that they were concerned about the navigational issues, but chose not to renew their objection. The last member of the public has reaffirmed their objection based on public access concerns and anticipated use conflicts. So with that remaining objection and the 1.1.6 substantive objection criteria, staff has noted that that objector correctly identifies that a standard is not met, the depth standard. However, the remedy to that is to request a variance, which the applicant has done, and staff supports that variance request. The objection points out concerns for navigation, which have been addressed by the revision and the fact that the town has rescinded their objection, which was regarding navigation concerns. The final comment from the objector was regarding public access and use conflicts. Public access will not be impacted by this facility. It is located more than 25 feet to the closest edge of Lafayette Road. The facility meets that 25-foot side setback, so there's plenty of room to the closest portion of Lafayette Road, and then there is Lafayette Road. Staff believes that this remaining objection does not rise to meet the criteria of substantive objection and has no objection to council approving this dock application and will prepare standard assent stipulations if council approves.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Silva from the council?
Just
Mr. Gomez?
the variance request, I'm looking at this 1.4 inches, is that correct? Of the below mean low water relief is 1.4 inches, which seems like a small amount. Is that?
It's 2 and change. They're proposing to be 15.6 and they're supposed to be 18, so it's.
Oh, okay, yeah, the request that I'm looking at in here, I guess is a little different. I'm looking at the, with a length of 50 foot, the depth is approximately 15.6 inches, 1.3 feet. Oh, okay, it's 0.2 feet. Sorry. But at any rate, my real question, I guess, is, have we done this before? This type of a variance?
A variance for a water depth?
Yes.
Yes, we have. And
So we're not talking precedent or anything like that.
we are not. And we have a standard stipulation for facilities that are in these shallow waters that propose floats, that they are supposed to have float stops on them so that the floats do not sit on the bottom at the lowest of flow tides.
Right.
So that would be part of the standard stipulation package.
I'll get, these are brand new glasses. I guess I take them back. Thank you.
Any further questions from Ms. Silva? Anything the applicant would like to add?
I had an opportunity to look over the staff recommendations submitted by Tracy Sylvia. And found them to be extremely accurate. Very well done. Honestly, it speaks volumes on the project. So I just want to congratulate her on an amazing report from her and from her staff.
Thank you. I know there's no one else in the room, but I have to ask you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone that wishes to speak in opposition of the application? Seeing none, is the council in a position for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, based on testimony we've heard tonight and the report from CRMC's staff, I move that we approve the variance and the application together.
Okay. A motion has been made.
Stipulations of this type of variance.
A motion has been made by Mr. Izzy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Reynolds. I think Mr. Flynn raised his hand as well. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will poll the council. Mr. Flynn?
Aye.
Mr. Izzy?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Mr. Russolino?
Aye.
Mr. Gagnon?
Aye.
Ms. Reynolds?
Aye.
I too, Raymond Coy, vote aye. The application has been granted. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anything else to come before the council this evening?
Council have any comment on the recent decision, Superior Court?
I do, and let me preface it by saying, I sent a preliminary memo to staff on the matter. I am preparing now a fuller memo for the council. You probably get it on Friday. And I hate to use the legalese on this, but the procedural travel of the case after it was filed, and this is the Stilts case, and also the Roth case, which has to do with the new law for public access, rack line plus 10 feet landward. Plaintiff in the case Stilts filed a motion for summary, the defendant state, the Attorney General filed a motion to dismiss. The court converted that to a motion for summary judgment. What that means is that the Attorney General was asserting that the facts are not in dispute. As a matter of law, the state was entitled to judgment on the case. This was a takings case. There were 3 counts to it, all based on the United States Constitution. What happened is on the summary judgment motion, count 2, that was granted, but counts 1 and 3, the summary judgment motion was denied. And in denying those motions, the judge in her decision said, this is a taking. Unfortunately, the plaintiff never filed a cross motion for summary judgment. So the case is still marching on. I can tell you that my advice to staff has been that the law is still in effect. It has not been struck down by the Superior Court. The plaintiff's attorney has said in the press that they are going to file a motion for summary judgment. I expect that to happen shortly. Based on the judge's decision in the Stilts case and the Roth case, I expect that that motion will be granted. Then the case will head to the Supreme Court. But I'll give you a memo on that just to give you greater detail on it.
How long is it?
Thank you.
Like a year.
That's correct, yes. Case was filed almost immediately. First thing they did is they filed in federal court. That case was dismissed. Then they filed in state court, and here we are.
Anything else to come before us? Entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Still.